Olá, gaianos! Bora bater um papo? O projeto Vênus, idealizado por Jacques Fresco, é uma proposta de transformação profunda na sociedade humana, não apenas econômica, mas cultural, tecnológica e até comportamental. Ele não é um plano urbano comum, é praticamente um redesenho completo da civilização. Ideia central: uma sociedade baseada em recursos. O coração do projeto Vênus é substituir o sistema atual, baseado em dinheiro, lucro e escassez artificial, por uma economia baseada em recursos. Isso significa todos os recursos da Terra, água, energia, alimentos, matérias-primas, seriam considerados como patrimônio comum da humanidade. O dinheiro deixaria de existir. A produção seria guiada por necessidade real e não por lucro. Exemplo: se há capacidade de produzir alimentos para todos, ninguém deveria passar fome. Independentemente se pode ou não pagar. A automação total seria o fim do trabalho obrigatório. Fresco defendia o uso máximo de tecnologia. Automação industrial avançada, inteligência artificial para gestão de sistemas, robótica para tarefas repetitivas e perigosas. Os humanos não precisariam trabalhar para sobreviver. O conceito de emprego desapareceria. As pessoas poderiam se dedicar à ciência, à arte, ao desenvolvimento pessoal e ao autoconhecimento, e também à exploração do planeta Terra e do universo. Um dos aspectos mais famosos do projeto são as cidades futuristas, circulares, altamente eficientes. Características: estrutura radial, tudo organizado em círculos concêntricos. Transporte automatizado e limpo, energia 100% renovável, solar, eólica e geotérmica. Sistemas inteligentes que monitoram o consumo e produção em tempo real. Integração total com a natureza, sem expansão descontrolada. Essas cidades seriam sustentáveis, autossuficientes, projetadas cientificamente e não politicamente. Imagina, gaianos, não depender de políticos que só pensam nos próprios interesses? Fim da política tradicional. No projeto Vênus não haveria políticos, eleições ou partidos. As decisões seriam tomadas com base em método científico, dados reais e eficiência técnica. Exemplo: se uma ponte precisa ser construída, quem decide não é um político, são engenheiros, dados e necessidades reais. Nova visão do comportamento humano. Fresco acreditava que o comportamento humano é moldado pelo ambiente. Crime, violência e desigualdade são produtos do sistema atual. Ou seja, se você muda o ambiente, educação, acesso a recursos e condições de vida, você muda o ser humano. Forte, hein? Energia limpa e abundante. O projeto depende fortemente de energia solar, eólica, geotérmica e da força das marés. A ideia é criar uma base energética tão abundante que elimine a disputa por recursos. Relação com a natureza. O projeto Vênus propõe parar de explorar a Terra de forma predatória, redesenhar cidades e produção respeitando os ecossistemas, usar tecnologia para regenerar o planeta. Não é voltar ao passado, mas sim usar tecnologia para viver em equilíbrio com a Terra. Em resumo, o projeto Vênus é uma proposta de mundo onde não existe dinheiro, não existe escassez artificial. A tecnologia serve à vida e não ao lucro. E humanos vivem com mais liberdade e menos no modo sobrevivência.
Symbolic logic, what the condition is, it is then read. Instead of doctors, it's read by machine very rapidly. And then the appropriate action can be taken by machine, if it's surgery or whatever else is required. So to sit down and design a surgical system based on today's values and today's methodology would be inappropriate for the future. So a city of that size will do 10 times the work that a city today of the same size does. That's why I can't give you an exact description of what hospitals will be like, only an overview in general. A ship is a total enclosure system. A passenger liner that has 1,000 passengers has hospital equipment, cooking, dining areas, sleeping areas, air conditioned, children's room, and nurses take care of children. It has everything that 1,000 passengers may need. Do you understand that? A ship is almost a total enclosure system. It doesn't generate its own energy. It uses machines, diesel engines, to generate electricity, to operate the generators. But in the future, the surface of the ship will supply the energy needed. The wave power and surrounding areas will supply that ship with the energy it needs rather than require input. Now most of the buildings that I draw that you see there can be put in the cities of the future on the outer perimeter. You need not, you can use the same basic drawings that I have today. But trying to fill in the buildings as to what's in them, I'd rather not divulge that specific information. Now, I can go into specifics, but they would only serve temporarily. The method of delivery of people or moving people depends on the technology of the future. And it depends on how easy it is to move people. But if you have total enclosure systems, it means each system is self-operating, doesn't depend on central power, but they're all connected to the central computer and they're connected to all events in other cities. If the city system mechanisms fail, other mechanisms take over and notify the appropriate people or the appropriate machines to carry out a given task. You can't design the best television set. You can only design the best you can design with what we know up to now. 2 years from now, it'll be different. Does that make sense? The city that I design will be a straitjacket to the kids of the future. They'll design their own cities. But if you make a statue of fresco and put it here, you hold them back. So there are no heroes, no great people in the future. Just people that make contributions. It is not from the bottom up or from the top down. It's based upon surveys, meaning if we have the resources, we can build a resource-based economy. If we don't have access to certain materials, people want to know how things are distributed. In other words, if we don't have enough to go around, who gets what? That's why we must overcome scarcity. To the degree that scarcity exists, you will have problems. You cannot overcome problems by legislation or consensus. You have to have the material to make a resource-based economy work. And until that occurs, you're going to have problems. If we can overcome shortages, then we can begin to think of ways of solving problems. If you cannot overcome shortages, you will have problems. So somebody once asked me, who decides who gets what? In the shortage system, where you don't have enough resources to meet those needs, it will occur on the basis of prejudice, bigotry, and the habits pre-established prior to the Venus concepts. The Venus concept doesn't have a set of laws that exist, that you do this or you don't do that. If we don't overcome scarcity, we cannot operate the system efficiently. So the first thing that has to be done is groups of people or individuals have to work on problem solving. Many problems, such as conflict resolution, if we learn to solve problems in an abundant system, we would have little conflict. If we don't have abundance, it will always result in problems. I believe that the Venus Project can arrive at the availability of services in the shortest possible time. Once that is accomplished, we can begin to move forward. Until we resolve the problem of shortages, we cannot move forward. There are many different things people ask. What if two people completely disagree and have different approaches to problems? We can try both systems, or 3 systems, or 10 systems to determine that which consumes less energy and is the most effective. If we try a system and it doesn't work, then we'll continue to work at it to see if we can find better ways of operating the system. It has nothing to do groups feels they want, or what the group feels ought to be done. It's based on resources only. We do not make decisions, we arrive at them based on existing resources. There appears to be no real other way of doing things. It's like being in a lifeboat with limited water. Do you give everybody a glass of water, or do you give everybody water depending on their weight and moisture, evaporation of the body? In other words, how do you decide that? People tend to give each person an equal amount of water in scarcity. That does not make sense. If a person weighs 300 pounds and another person weighs 79 pounds, giving them an equal amount of water does not equally distribute that water in the body. So totally different systems, meaning surveyors and technical people who are qualified to arrive at decisions by using technology. Does everybody have equal opportunities in the Venus Project? No. There are different people with different backgrounds. The more experience you have in any particular field, you'll be called upon to advise. I'm talking about real experience, hands-on, working at something. You cannot maintain laws with abundance. So when people say, well, what are the new laws in the Venus Project? Well, to the degree that we can solve problems, produce an abundance, there's hardly any need for laws. If we can raise children to behave in the most appropriate way under those conditions, you don't need laws.
Some people would want or need drugs. Would it be made available to them?
Yes, it would.
It would?
Yes.
Okay.
You will, if you, see, we show people smoking cigarettes, talking, but then we show the human lung, real film, and it stretches. If you smoke a long time, it tears, and then cancer cells form. Then the guy chokes, he can't breathe. We show a guy dying, real, in a hospital, try to breathe. He's been smoking for 20 years. We don't say stop smoking. We show films of the results of a certain viewpoint. You understand? If you don't get it, you can still smoke if you're upset. Okay. We don't order you not to smoke. If you try to do that, it'll go underground. People will smoke in the cellar. If you try to ban religion, it'll go underground. Don't ban anything.
I believe that people should not be divided. The youngsters, the adolescents, and finally the mature young adults, and then the older folks are all divided people. When you get to be 65, you don't want to travel on an ocean liner with old folks. How come we put up these buildings for the old folks We think that people ought to live wherever the hell they want to live, that cities must be designed so you have an integrated, intelligent society. Einstein, when he was 65, 70 years old, he would talk to youngsters. He kept reading. He kept up with ideas. Why must societies be divided into different groups?
All single professions will disappear in the future. I have no question about it. You have to become so general. Our problems are not political, they're technical. Everything that you have, your washing machine, your electric light, your automobiles, your airplanes, are all technical. Without those things, you'd be pulling boats. Slavery. You'd be whipped and beaten into slavery. So technology is on the backs of probably no more than 20 people, gave us everything. The Edisons, Louis Pasteur. If it wasn't him, we'd all be dead. So the real things that you have that work for you are technical. What the Venus Project proposes is a society where everyone will live better than the wealthiest people today. Everyone. Now, is that possible? Let me give you an example. The middle-class American today, or the middle-class person in any advanced society, lives better than kings. They have air conditioning in their car. They have communications in their car, telephones. They fly and fly. Even the Arabs used to think of a magic carpet. The guy sat on the couch and they flew around. They thought that was fantastic. But they never told you when it rained, the carpet got soaked, and everybody got wet, or you had to go to the washroom. What did you do in the magic carpet? Now you have airplanes with television in the airplanes. Even the magic carpet was considered, oh, that's too far out. Nothing's too far out. Anything a person can conceive of can be built. Now, in a non-monetary based society, a resource-based society, people have access to anything that they need, somewhat like the public library. They can go down and access a camera or a bicycle or a wristwatch. Anything that they need is available without a price tag. That would mean we must achieve a level of production that's so high that scarcity no longer exists. Many people wonder what would drive people if they have access to all their needs. What would happen to incentive? What will motivate people? Or something gain. What's the gain? Although the gain is that materials are available, what will motivate them on to do better than what they have? Need. We will always lack. And the fact that we will always lack, meaning that we cannot achieve perfection, we cannot achieve truly dynamic equilibrium, we will always be in some form of disequilibrium. With the elimination of scarcity, the essential incentives change toward problem solving in general. Well, in a resource-based economy, people are brought up to understand how they relate to their immediate environment, and that their relationship to the environment is not the whole truth. It's as far as we know up to now. You're brought up to date and you're told that as we seek more and more information, we will know more about a given subject. Someone asked me, would everybody be alike in your society? Yes, in certain areas. They will love the earth and take care of it, stick their hands out when they meet another person from a different culture and say, your values are different than mine. I'd like to learn more about your way of thinking. They will be the same in that way. They will be open to new ideas, learn to listen to new ideas, ask relevant questions about ideas. Yes, in those areas they will be alike. A resource-based economy is all-inclusive. That means transportation, city design, education, the methods of education, and the new value system. If you don't include everything, if you leave out any of those factors, you'll have a problem. It includes agriculture, feeding people, distribution of goods and services. It includes the raising of children, the school systems, the subject matter taught, the language used. We also will develop a newer language that has closer areas of agreement, which are not subject to interpretation. The Venus Project describes the process level of social operations. Any deviation from that system will cause problems. The system has been worked on for 75 years, and we've got it down pat. The resource-based economy is a method of operating society in the most economical and efficient way to meet the needs of all the world's people. During the transition, it will be highly participatory. Different people in different professions will be able to serve the well-being of everyone else. It is not a technical elitism. It includes all aspects of social living. I didn't want you to think that it's just city design. It's a value system, the way we think, how we arrive at these conclusions. In other words, you will see every inch of the way as proposed by the Venus Project. If you deviate from those systems, it may not be a tried system or proven system. The Venus Project is based upon a lot of research and proven methods of social change. There are no values except the values that preserve nature, man, and his relationship to his fellow man and nature. This is the only laws I know of. If we don't take care of the forest, we let them burn and die, we will suffer. If we pollute the oceans, we will suffer. Those are the things I accept. If people do not understand the Venus Project, isn't that fresco lights dictate the ways? I'd like to understand what they have to offer to alter society. I'm not interested in 3 views to an airplane unless I know what that plane is for. What has to be done is people should investigate the educational system of the Venus Project, what it offers. Then it must then look into the environmental aspects of the Venus Project, how we intend to support and restore the damaged environment. Then what different types of vehicles will be used for transportation, how we solve the transportation problem. If they find shortcomings in it, say, present your recommendations. But don't say, I don't like that system. Present your recommendations or alternatives.
We have designs, as I said, for a new city where people could come from all over the world and see. It'd be kind of a transitional city because you can't superimpose a resource-based economy within the monetary system. So it'd be a transition, and people would come and see how the city works and see how efficient it would be, and then go back and build one in their country. And it would kind of grow this way through evolution, not revolution. But before things break down in this culture, we'd like to have a lot more information out there so people know what to work toward. And many of them won't be interested until, as Jacques mentioned, they lose their jobs, they lose confidence in their elected leaders, and they lose their homes and their cars. Then they'll be looking for something else. But we'd like to have the information out there so they know a different direction to work toward.
We have a lot of architects now joining the organization, and they're working on 3 views of the city's construction techniques, but it's a little early for that. The first thing is to convince people that they want that. And then if they say, we're ready to go, we collected 50 million for the first city. We'll build it any place, China, France, England, but it will be owned by the Venus Project, so we get people from all over the world to come and look at it and say, we'd like to live that way.
Do you feel that there should be a political movement associated with the Venus Project?
Not a political movement, an educational movement.
Very good, yes.
Tell people what it is that's needed, how much arable land to support so many people, and transportation that would be safe, an educational project that shows how to utilize our existing resources in a more equitable way for all people.
And it's too bad even the activists today who want to see change, some of them, they don't know where the problems lie. They try and make this system more ethical and just, but never consider that it's a system that produces that aberrant behavior.